In this video, I will take a bit closer look at the AI segmentation the POP4 can do. So, as previously mentioned, I initially thought this was a very gimmicky feature. So basically, you can, if I want to scan the skull here, you can then select the skull in the camera preview, and this causes only the skull to be scanned and not the surrounding area. I was like, okay, maybe nice, but after first testing, it actually is quite nice and quite helpful. So let's start scanning. I will use a feature tracked scan because the AI or the segmentation tool is only available in full field, VSEL, and the hybrid HD mode, not in the laser line mode. And of course, since I want to use like the full potential, I'd use feature tracking, because then what I can do is I can start like scanning with this and then just pick the skull up and move it freely around, and it doesn't capture the table or my hands. So we will use, let's actually use hybrid, and I will call it skull hybrid, like this. And now it is starting up, and we should shortly see the option to be apparent. So without the segmentation, you will see what I mean with I will capture a lot of like chunk data that I don't need. So okay, one is next exposure. Here you can see it also captures the table around the skull, and of course it also captures my hand. Like you can see here, if I put my hand in front of the skull, it is also captured. And therefore, if I pick the skull up and rotate it like this, you can just like start scanning, and then you will see that all of the table and even my hand is captured as well. And you could circumvent this by, for example, using either a very dark desk mat, so the exposure is so low for it, the exposure needed for it to work is so high that it simply isn't captured. So this is my previous approach, I would call it, because then I have just a dark mouse pad normally on my table, and this allows me to don't capture any unnecessary data. But what we now also can do is just enable the segmentation tool. There are multiple options for segmentation. So the easiest one is like the base removal. You can see if I enable it, it just deletes the base plate, but it still, for example, captures my hand. Then the third one is the background removal tool. This is sort of the automatic removal, and you can see here, so if I have my mouse in it, in the camera preview here in the bottom, you will see it a bit larger, it automatically highlights what it thinks a background is. What I personally prefer to use is the object segmentation, because this is like the mode where you can fully define by yourself what's captured. For example, you can see here in green, this is like the normal view, and you can also enlarge the camera view a bit. Here in green, it shows you what it will scan. And just by left clicking, you can add parts that are scanned. So here, there's still a small gap. And for example, now it would also scan the background, but with right click, I can remove it again. And now let's highlight the skull. Now, what I also like to do is just check if all of the parts or the whole part is highlighted. If some parts should be missing, you can just turn it around and then select the part that currently isn't captured. But this looks quite good. So now I can just start scanning. And as you can see, even if I have my hands here on the skull, they are uncaptured. Neither is the table. So now let's go around the back side of the skull. Maybe a bit more in the eye sockets and a bit in the nose, like this. And now what's the nice thing, what I also can do, I can just pick it up, and here you can see the shadow of my hand, and just turn it around. And as you can see, it also doesn't capture my arm. So it is, it's not only a color matching, I would say. So, and now let's finish the scan, and as you see, we didn't capture any chunk data around the skull. And the next step is just fusion. I will do it at 0.2 millimeters, and this is basically the yeah, the scanning approach I took for the multiple, or I will post like a comparison of the skull shortly in all different scan modes of the POP4. And for the VSOL, the full field HD and the hybrid mode, this was my scanning approach, because otherwise, like in laser mode, I did one scan from the top, then did a separate scan from the bottom, and later merged them. But with this, like just moving the head around by scanning, I just don't need to do separate scans. So yeah, that's quite helpful. And now let's wait until the processing is finished, and then we can have a look at the mesh result. So now the mesh, or the fusion and the mesh processing is finished. And as you can see, we didn't capture any chunk data. We captured the bottom of the skull. Maybe here at the top, I could have scanned a bit more from the top. So I only scanned from the sides. So I missed this spot. But yeah, so as you can see, the segmentation works surprisingly well. I still need to test it with a bit more, I would say, texture-rich objects. But what you can do then, if you have like a multitude of very sharp color differences, is just basically click all the parts that aren't highlighted and you want to highlight. So therefore, yeah, like it automatically then selects all the parts, or have all the parts selected you need. But I think it's quite a useful tool actually.